He started looking inside, but then immediately started backing away, his face as pale as a ghost. From the opening, Jacob could hear a low gurgle, but his whole body was shaken when he saw the massive 8-fingered claw rise from the opening and grab onto the ledge. It was a sickening pinkish-orange color and swirling with flowing malice, and it used its hand to push itself free of its resting place. From the grave-like opening rose a massive creature nearly 4 stories tall at the shoulder. It had 6 long legs, each bearing a claw dripping with blood and vile-smelling substance. It had a massive head that was somewhat like a mole, sporting a massive mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth the size of tree trunks, and a tail covered with spines that looked like they could impale a horse. Its body was bloated and bulbous, and worst of all, it sported several disgusting, snapping mouths, each moving and writhing, seemingly entirely on its own. "That doesn't look like any old wolf god I've ever seen," Jacob said with fright. "Still think we can handle it?" Niccolo asked, growing the crystal of his hammer into a massive buster sword. Jacob wasn't really sure anymore, but they had unleashed it, so it was their responsibility. "I don't know, but we can't let that thing run wild," Jacob replied, drawing his sword. "You've got that right. Come on, let's see if there's something we can," Niccolo started to say, but before he could finish his sentence he was cut off by a massive roar from the beast. It was so loud everyone covered their ears. We all managed to pull Randy and Dawn over to Jacob and Niccolo's side, but all 3 of them collapsed and covered their ears at the creature's roar. The werewolves were closing in, unaffected by the creature's powerful roar. As Dawn let go of the crystal to cover her ears, it started to float and flashed brightly, frightening the werewolves. Jacob uncovered his ears as it finished roaring, but they perked up when they immediately heard a familiar howl on a rush of wind. Wind blasted through the area, but they were shocked when the werewolves weren't returned to their normal selves as they had been before. Only then did it all come together. The moon. That creature must have made a blood moon as a plan to make the werewolves resist Caprite's cleansing wind, Jacob said. "Do you really think it's that smart?" Niccolo asked in reply, shocked when the creature's main head seemed to focus on him. Never mind. I could see it happening. But what should we do about it? "Well, if I'm right, there's only one thing we can do now," Jacob said, eyeing the werewolves as they continued their approach. They were starting to get boxed in by them. The creature returned its attention to the east, seeming uninterested in their group. "And that would be?" Niccolo asked. "We've got to stall them," Jacob explained. "Stall them? What are we buying time for?" we all asked. "For Caprite to come and put that creature back in its hole," Jacob replied. The creature looked to him before roaring with unyielding fury. Without warning, one of the maws on the creature's side opened and sprayed out a torrent of blood, soaking them all. Jacob was shocked and disgusted, not pleased to be drenched in the disgusting fluid. Niccolo and Dawn seemed fine as well, and Lial had been shoved out of the way by Cardosa, protecting her from the assault. Randy did not seem okay.